You know why you should walk more often instead of running to get shredded? Let me explain. When one walks and one preps his body correctly, the body uses fat as its fuel of energy to get the job done. But when one pushes himself too much and trains in the red zone, the body taps into glucose as its fuel. But what happens after it runs through all the glucose? It taps into the glycogen, which is the glucose in the muscles. You see a lot of runners, very skinny arms, very skinny legs, but they have that dad bod. Why? Because there's no muscle development. Your goal should be to burn fat and not your muscle. So if you want to get shredded, start walking more and ditch running.
No. Using fat as a fuel and burning fats are two completely different things. Your body is fully capable of utilizing carbs and fats as energy fuels or energy sources. But just because you're using fat as a fuel doesn't necessarily mean that you are burning off fat at the end of the day. There's a certain threshold at which the body stops to use fat. If his theory was true, then the body would stop burning off fat when the body starts to stop using fat as a fuel. Your body needs oxygen in order to use fat as a fuel, because fat oxidation, hence oxygen, needs to occur. And this is exactly what the next study tried to highlight. The study released by Parrish and colleagues, called Fat Utilization During High-Intensity Exercise, When Does It End?, tried to determine at what intensity fat oxidation becomes negligible, and also tried to see whether this threshold correlates with anaerobic thresholds. They recruited 47 male participants, 30 trained athletes and 17 non-athletes. They performed the exercises on a treadmill and had to go to exhaustion. They measured the oxidation via indirect calorimetry. Calorimetry measures your energy expenditure. To put it in very simple terms, the key measurements are VO2 max, which measures maximum oxygen uptake, the fat min, which is short for minimum fat oxidation point, and ANT, which is short for anaerobic threshold. What were the results? The study found a near perfect correlation. Keep in mind that a perfect correlation is 1.0. And they found a strong correlation of 0.99 in athletes and 0.97 in non-athletes between the minimum fat oxidation point and the anaerobic threshold. In other words, fat oxidation ceases as the intensity of the exercise gets harder, especially the closer we get to the anaerobic threshold. The beginning of his statement was true. However, and this is why there's so much confusion out there, the example that we just looked at is the example of the body using fat as a fuel. What we truly are interested in is in the question whether there's differences in burning fat between low-intensity exercises and high-intensity exercises. And for that we have a systematic review and meta-analysis released by Kramer and colleagues. The forest plot you see here presented on the screen is the comparison of abdominal visceral fat, so belly fat, between high-intensity interval training, so in short HIIT, compared to lower intensity cardio trainings. At the top you see the men, and at the bottom you see the forest plot for the women. In short, there's no significant differences between these two training methods. HIIT training burns off a lot of calories in a really short amount of time. Low steady state cardio, on the other hand, burns less calories in the same amount of time. But you can do low steady state cardio for a prolonged time, and hence you have the capability to burn the same amount of calories or even more, because it is less fatiguing for the body. All comes down to how many calories you are burning. Because at the end of the day, if we have two identical persons, they both have a calorie maintenance of 2000 calories and they eat 2000 calories per day. So what this means, they are neither gaining or losing weight. But person A starts doing HIIT training and starts burning off 400 calories extra per day. And person B goes out for walks and burns off 200 calories per day. Person A will burn off more fat. Not because HIIT training is superior, but because they expend more calories. Types of cardio are really healthy for your cardiometabolic health, whether you opt for the lower intensity or the higher intensity. What are your thoughts about this topic? Feel free to let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you during my next video.